My name is Tali Hoffman. I'm a zoologist. I have a PhD in zoology from the University of Cape Town. I'm originally from Johannesburg, but I've lived in Cape Town for 10 years and I firmly see myself now as a Cape Townian. I manage a project called Mammal Map, which is the short name for the African Mammal Atlas Project. And the aim of the project is to collect basic distribution records of Africa's mammal species. Because you see, to effectively manage and conserve these mammal species, we have to, at the most basic level, have an understanding of where they are. But the reality is that across Africa, our knowledge of the whereabouts of many mammal species is either outdated or based on unverified information. So filling this crucial gap in our knowledge is the main aim of Mammal Map. And ultimately, this information will then feed into conservation policies and land development legislation to help ensure that we keep the areas critical to the survival of our African mammals. Mammal Map is a continent-wide project, so it's very ambitious because we're covering more than 62 political territories and we're going across multiple borders, and also the mammals that we're studying aren't restricted to a particular habitat. They live underground, they live on land, they fly, they swim in the sea. But the reality is that technology is such as it is today that we can collect this kind of information on this kind of scale and across this geographic scope just by harnessing the incredible power of technology that exists today. I came on board as the project manager in early 2012, so I've been driving the project with as much force as possible for the last year and a half. Our idea with Mammal Map is, we're hoping anyway, that it's a project that will continue into perpetuity. So if we can continue to collect this kind of distribution information, it means we'll always have at our disposal the information we need to make effective conservation decisions. But for a more manageable time set, we're looking at a 5-window time period from 2012 to 2017 to do a mass data gathering exercise. I'm one of those people who wasn't born thinking that they wanted to work in conservation. It took me quite a long time to actually come to that mindset. So it wasn't until I was in my early 20s when I started working as a tour guide on overland trucks. We were traveling through the most beautiful areas of southern and eastern Africa and visiting places like the Serengeti and the Masai Mara and Okavango Delta, and it was by being immersed in those places and by seeing the people and the wildlife and smelling the smells and hearing the sounds that I just completely and utterly fell in love with Africa. And it was from that moment on that I decided to spend the rest of my life trying to conserve the natural heritage of our continent. I applied for the GreenMatter Fellowship for 2 reasons. The first is that it's giving me the opportunity to go to the International Congress for Conservation Biology, which is happening in Baltimore in July in 2013. And this is a conservation community gathering which only happens every 2nd year, and which is really a critical mass of conservationists from around the world coming together to share and exchange ideas and knowledge. So it's a really important platform for me, both professionally and to help expose the world to the conservation project that I'm running. But the other reason I applied for the GreenMatter Fellowship is because of the incredible opportunity that it offers people in terms of networking abilities and potential and mentoring potential, to give you the kind of skills that you just don't get access to or help with at any other stage of your academic career. I think what the GreenMatter Fellowship offers, which is not something I've ever been exposed to before, is the potential for getting involved in networks, not just with your peers and your colleagues, but with potential mentors, people who have far more experience and far wider knowledge bases than you do, and having access to those people to help you build a better sense of what it is you can achieve with your career choice. What I'm hoping to have achieved in the next 10 years is to have taken Mammal Map, the project I manage, from infancy where it is now to being a successful project that has yielded incredibly powerful conservation information that can help to guide conservation policy and legislation. But I also hope to be in a position where I can continue to disseminate information both to the authorities who can affect some kind of effective conservation decision making, but also to the public of Africa, to show everyone how each of them has the potential to become ambassadors for conservation on their own right. I believe it's very important to give back to the biodiversity sector, particularly those of us who've been given the privilege of getting access to the kind of things you're given access to with the GreenMatter Fellowship. And I'd really love to give back to the biodiversity sector by helping to develop my peers and my colleagues with their own requirements, but also by taking the idea of conservation further afield and using the GreenMatter Fellowship as a platform for large-scale conservation education of people across ages and cultures and geographies.